Kia ora koutou. Well, I'm not going to stand up here and do another speech. I will just take questions from the room.
Two of the three child poverty steps that were put out today in the budget, it appeared that things were heading in the wrong direction for Pacifica kids, bringing lots of people out of poverty, but for Pacifica kids it was going the wrong way. Have you looked into that, or are you worried that the government's actions aren't helping that community?
Well, look, I think we do need to be cognizant of how our different communities are impacted by COVID. What we've seen with unemployment is that that's improved, but that hasn't necessarily been the case for the Pacific community. So I'm very cognizant of that, and I have been working with MSD to make sure that we're doing everything we can to inform our Pacific community of what supports are available, what opportunities with regards to the investments we've put in place for upskilling and training are available. Also that our Pacific businesses know about things like flexi wage and the apprenticeship boost, so that we're connecting up the Pacific community to the opportunities that are in place. But it is a space to watch.
So, Minister, can you please describe the battle that you've had personally to get to this point to finally boost benefits?
I wouldn't describe it as a battle. I think what I've been hearing recently, from some corners, is that we haven't done enough to respond to the WEAG report. Some people say we haven't done anything, but I have always said that already we've made significant changes, even prior to today. Obviously, today is a milestone to actually meet and in some instances exceed the Welfare Expert Advisory Group's recommendations. A milestone in terms of going back to getting ahead of the Ruth Richardson benefit cuts back in the 90s, and so, we've gone a long way, I think, with regards to restoring the dignity of our welfare system, and there's more to do, and we'll always acknowledge that.
We've been on the benefit system before, so what does this mean for you personally? You know how much this could help people.
It means a lot because I do understand the journey that beneficiaries are on. It's always been difficult to survive on a benefit, and there's always been that stigma to being on a benefit as well. And so the fact that we not only get to increase benefits today, but also reinstate the training incentive allowance, to me means a lot, because I know how much it means for the people that will be on the receiving end of that.
Why not introduce all of the changes to benefits in July instead of rolling it out?
Well, usually changes like this would come in on the 1st of April, but we've moved forward part of it. As you would have seen, there are differential shifts between the different benefits, so that takes a little bit of time to work through. And so what we were able to do in the interim is introduce a flat increase, so the $20 from the 1st of July, and that gives the officials a little bit of time to work out the differentials and how that's implemented on the 1st of April.
The housing costs have increased quite significantly since the Welfare Advisory report came out in 2019, so is this boost enough?
Well, as I said, the beneficiaries who have children, actually the amounts that we've increased the benefit by exceed the Welfare Expert Advisory Group's recommendations, and that is a deliberate attempt for us to do what we've prioritised, which is addressing child poverty. There are calls from all corners to go further than what we have done today. But I will say that I am relieved, actually, that we have been able to meet the Welfare Expert Advisory Group report recommendations.
Given those calls, and you say this is a milestone, the Children's Commissioner says you have to make comparable investments like this in years to come in order to really lift the children out of poverty. Do you have the political will to keep going with this?
We have the political will to continue to do everything that we can to address child poverty in New Zealand. I'm not going to preempt what will be in future budgets, but we'll continue to do the work.
Are you worried at all about the fairness aspects of two-tiering the budget system, the welfare system with unemployment insurance? People who make $100,000 getting $80,000, getting 80% of that. If they're briefly unemployed, we're making many multiples of what someone who is on the job seeker benefit we're making. Is that fair?
I think the Prime Minister spoke to this earlier, how in comparable countries they have a two-tiered system like this, and that the type of social unemployment insurance that we're talking about would be time limited, which benefits are not. And what we saw from our COVID experience is that, here came this shock and people weren't prepared for the loss of jobs, and so had no time to prepare themselves for the drop in income. Also, we still have the issue that actually there are relationship rules within the welfare system, and so a social insurance scheme means that those that lose jobs but may be in a relationship won't necessarily be hindered to the same extent.
A problem with relationship issues currently in the welfare system?
That's another issue that was traversed in the Welfare Expert Advisory Group report, and something that we need to consider moving forward.
Will you be having a drink with Ricardo Menendez March tonight about the changes?
Why not? Anything else? Okay, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
I'm not sure who's left. Oh, it's Willie. Oh, it's all the Māori in here.